Court documents in Chrystul Kizer's case outline some of what she experienced as an alleged victim of sex trafficking, at the hands of Randall Volar. So tonight, we want to get some insight into what the impact of these circumstances could be. Forensic psychiatrist, trial expert witness, and columnist of Inside the Criminal Mind, Dr. Carole Lieberman, also with us. Thank you, ladies, both of you, for being with us tonight. Sex trafficking, I was saying a little bit earlier in the show, you know, these young victims used to be called prostitutes not that long ago in the court of law. They're now recognized to be victims. But what is the trauma like? Dr. Lieberman, one of the things is I've got lots of people that I meet, that I know, acquaintances, colleagues who say, oh, sex trafficking isn't happening here. What do you mean? And I know and say, oh, don't be fooled. It happens all over the country. It doesn't matter if you're rich. It doesn't matter if you're poor. It doesn't matter. All kinds of victims. So tell us a little bit about that and how individuals become victims. How do these perpetrators catch these young people in their snares?
Yes, it can be any level of society, any situation. And what the sex traffickers look for is someone who is vulnerable. They have radar for figuring out who these people are. Now, sometimes it's a matter of money. Sometimes it's a matter of attention, people looking for love. Sometimes, you know, we've seen all differences from lower socioeconomic levels to Jeffrey Epstein, for example. But there is something psychological primarily that holds the victims to their trafficker. And, you know, like there's a Romeo pimp, for example, you know, who really their way of keeping the victim is giving them all kinds of love, you know, pretenses, of course, of love. Now, what's so interesting in this case is that Chrystul came from a very poor family. She's the eldest of 4 children. Her mother was working and menial jobs, trying to make enough money for the family. Her mother had a boyfriend who lived with them, and the boyfriend was very violent. And Chrystul had to, you know, deal with that. She tried to protect her younger siblings, and she saw that the police didn't protect her, that if they called the police, they would arrest him and he would be let out. And so and obviously her mother had very low self-esteem to be with a man like this who was violent and abusive and so on. So Chrystul was repeating this pattern of being with a man, you know, where she was going to be treated in this demeaning way. Now, I'm not saying that that's her fault necessarily, but that is, she made herself, or her family situation made her a vulnerable victim to this trafficker.
Dr. Lieberman, first of all, what is the psychological reason, if you could help us understand, that maybe this victim is doing these things and waving the gun and I'm going to shoot somebody else if they make me mad and posting this on Facebook after she's killed someone?
Well, you know, of course, the defense is going to try to say that this is all a result of being sex trafficked. And but I don't think that you can make that blanket statement. You know, just because someone is a victim of sex trafficking doesn't mean, in my opinion, that they should get a free pass. And I think that in this case, there are several things. The social media are examples. You know, you could say that, oh, well, that's just bravado because she has been broken down so much by the sex trafficking. She's just trying to look more powerful because she feels incredibly helpless after what happened to her. You know, that could be an argument, but you know, she put herself on Backpage to begin with. She went to his house that night. It wasn't that she was trapped there. She continued the relationship. Now, granted, he had a psychological hold on her because, you know, he did give her things that she was missing in her life, not just money and clothes and things like that. But he gave her a heart locket. He, you know, pretended that he loved her, all of that. So she went along with it, and then she got arrested for driving her brother's stolen car, and she was put in jail. This is obviously before she killed him, and he bailed her out. So then from that point, he started talking about how she owed him. She had to have sex with him and had to have sex with all these other men because she owed him. So I think that I don't think it should be that just if you're a victim of sex trafficking, you get a free pass. You can kill somebody and we'll just blame it on the sex trafficking. Each person has to be psychiatrically evaluated. Each person should be different, should be considered different, and each one has more of a premeditation and so on than others.